All right, welcome on back, everybody, to Bob 29 back in the lounge yet again. Make sure to kick back, relax, and grab some snacks because we're back with part 2 of volume 8 of the Roundtable podcast. Lots to talk about this time around, and plenty more to still go. So hopefully you all enjoy the rest of the recording here. We're going to go through really quick and reintroduce everyone for those of you that are tuning in to part 2 without having listened to part 1. And we also have a couple of new members that have pulled up a chair to the table. So real quick, I still have with me Mr. B-Rock Gaming. How's it going, B-Rock? And he's gone.
It's good here. Good here representing not as... For some reason, the mic just stopped, Bob. But it's representing not a full-time job. Welcome, everybody, to the podcast.
Awesome. Thank you, B-Rock. Hopefully, we can get B-Rock's mic working flawlessly moving forward. Next up, I've got with me Bunders 2024.
Yeah, still here and looking forward to part 2.
Awesome. We have a new addition today. One Mr. Chris B, part of B-Rock's Riff Raff, has joined us today. How's it going, Chris?
How's it going, too? It's going pretty good here, and yeah, I'm one of the other co-leaders of not a full-time job. I have to put up with all the B-Rock crap.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, Chris. Looking forward to the contributions. B-Rock made sure to tell me to get you on here. I'm glad that we could in the little interim there. Also got with me, still sticking around, is Mr. Evolution X. How's it going, Evo?
Still here, doing all right. I just want to make it known that just because Thunders has a B in his name, he's not part of your coalition. B-Rock and Crispy, and will not be.
And still here reminding everyone to fix Hall of Fame Bruce.
They don't listen. I give up. It's been a year.
We also may have a couple of cameo appearances from one Mr. Rusty Graves, but I believe he is currently busy cleaning around the house. So no rush for the intro from him, but you all know Mr. Rusty Graves, one half of the Champs Chat. I also have with me another new addition to the podcast today. We have with us Shel. How's it going, Shel?
Hello, I'm Kitsu Shel, visiting from the penthouse in TNM and Evo's favorite faction member.
Visiting from the penthouse. I love it. And still sticking with us, I'm sure he's knee-deep in Feud. Meanwhile, I'm looking at how to make Goat Becky work on my own account. The Big Show. What's going on, Big Show?
How we doing, Bob? Looking forward to part 2.
Awesome. And again, the definition of last but not least, the one, the only, the everlasting, always hysterical, Mr. Southside Envy. What's up, Southside?
Southside Envy from Euro to this. Shout out to all the warriors on YouTube.
Oh my. I know you did not just say that. For those of you that are unaware, there was definitely some pre-podcast shenanigans that you are not going to be privy to on this YouTube recording. So,
you pay me? Because I was no.
So if you want to hear those live, then you definitely need to show up to the Discord a little bit early to hear all of the shenanigans that are afoot. But we're going to leave it at that, and we're going to pick right back up where we left off. The Queen Nia Jax, Queen of the Ring Showdown, the new skill plate, the 99 MP perk that we were definitely going very in-depth about. Chris or Shel, if either of the two of you want to chime in regards to the 99 MP things, please feel free to do so. And we also have, like we mentioned, I believe Evo kind of left a couple of comments on the prize wall in regards to the Yeet skill plate. I was very happy that that was on the prize wall for as cheap, quote-unquote, as it was. So still, I guess, the waning moments of the Showdown event before we move forward. Anything that anyone wants to talk about there, please feel free to do so.
Showdown has never been one of my favorite events. So I do what I got to do and get done. I'm also, as the TNM members know us, I'm a single mom and I work 2 jobs, and so my time's kind of limited, but I do the best I can to help out my faction. And I'm a day one player for almost 8 years, and I love this game, so I still play. But uh, luckily I had JD McDonough, and I was able to get that 99 MP, which made it a lot easier for me to get my stuff done and get it out. As for the Yeet plate, I was able to pick up my first stuff of that prize wall, and that
Nice.
was pretty much it. But I was happy to get that.
I mean, that's a hell of a win, to be honest. That plate is great. And yeah, I'm glad that I wasn't the only one who had family things going on.
Nope.
So I happened to get JD on Sunday, so after I could actually use the 99 MP, so that kind of sucked for me. But overall, I'm not a big fan of the 99 MP for Showdown. I think that's one of the funnest things for Showdown is that it doesn't have the 99 MP. Except for obviously the monthly characters and previous month characters. But I like that part where everyone has the negative MP in it. You have to do things a little bit differently than you would in Boss or Feud.
It's a fair point. Any thoughts on the perk, I guess, moving forward? Do you think that it's going to be a regular thing? Do you think that'd be good or maybe bad for the game? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't. It's kind of hard to tell just because it's the first time they've done it, but I could definitely see them doing it going forward as kind of like a reward for getting the free character, so to say, a little bit earlier. It was brought up earlier that it could be an incentive for people to spend. I think that's what it's going to be intended to be going forward. Is it's going to be an incentive to get the JD McDonough of the month a little bit earlier by spending, so you will get that for Showdown and make Showdown a little bit easier. I don't particularly think it's great for the game. I don't think it's really that bad either. It's just more of a preference sort of thing because you can get through Showdown whether you have that 99 MP or not. And there are ways to get around or still to beat people who have the 99 MP perk. It's not like if you don't have it, you're just completely out of luck.
Fair enough. Shel, your thoughts on the 99?
I liked it, honestly. Like, again, I mentioned, like, it was helped me get through it easier.
Mm-hmm.
But also touching back on something that Evo had said in the first part, I would actually prefer to see 99 MP in general go away, because I liked the idea of like being able to figure out just from the get-go how this character is going to play. I think it's kind of pointless to be like, here, it's going to run this way for the first 2 months, and then you have to figure it all out all over again. Just don't even bother with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of on board with that. I really, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but I would definitely like to see the 99 MP kind of go poof. I know that that's probably not a popular opinion out there, but for me, it definitely is the opinion that I have on it. I'm just not huge on the idea of using a character that's only good during a certain part of time. I mean, it's very similar to, I don't know, the hardcore moves that we have. And it's funny because my recording is actually going to show everybody that I'm using Goat Becky right now, which was something that I was working out with Sir Zoro earlier, who has a hardcore move. But I do want to test it out. But I'm not really that sold on the situational gameplay. I like to be able to have someone that I can use at any time instead of someone that I have to use in XYZ situation. And that 99 MP really makes it feel like you have to use those characters during XYZ situation, and that's just not fun.
Also, it touches back to something like what Rusty had mentioned about creating gameplay videos, that it doesn't archive well. Like, okay, I'm struggling like everybody else with Maurice. And I'm like, oh, let me see if there's like a video. But the videos that I was coming across last night were all previous ones where it's like, oh, here, 99 MP and this and that. I'm like, oh, this is not helping me now.
Mm-hmm. That's tough. it doesn't help once you can't use it. And that's kind of what I was talking about before too, is like, what if everybody just gets a 99 MP perk moving forward? Like, that's going to be a very wild time to be a part of this game. I remember when we used to have Feud that used to have +1 MP perk. That used to be game changing. And then they gave us +2 that one time, and NWO Macho came out and he was the best in the game. And it was like, that was +3. We got to +2 on a regular, and then they wanted to push the envelope and made it +3, and then NWO Macho essentially more or less broke the game because you could do what everybody does now, which is click your moves, click your move, click your move, and then you win. And that's what they wanted to get away from. And now that's like the whole entire goal of every character in the game. Regardless if you need a gear or a moment or a skill plate or whatever it is, the whole goal of the game now is getting to a point that you can just click a couple moves with your characters and just win. Which, I don't know, for me it's a weird dynamic from where we started versus where we're at right now. But yeah, I mean, I thought the showdown was a little bit different than most showdowns for me personally because of the perk. I think that there was no chance in hell that I was going to walk away with Nia on the weekend. So I wasn't really upset that I didn't get to walk away with her. That was what it was, right? Like, that's just part of the game. But I was content with walking away with a new Yeet plate. That's good. Yeet plate is very strong for the majority of my account and roster, so content with that. Looking forward to making some gameplay with some, not so regular characters, or some characters that a lot of people thought were very mediocre but can do some pretty solid damage output. So I'm looking forward to kind of moving forward, and thankfully from that weekend, there was enough for me to move forward with. So I'm happy with that. Anybody else have anything else that they want to talk about in regards to the weekend event itself, not specifically Nia Jax or her release, because that we will be talking about here. The strength of the character, very similar to the OTC release and things like that. I guess last call, so to speak, on the Showdown weekend event. All right. We can, however, move forward from the Showdown weekend, and we can talk about the Queen herself, Queen Nia Jax. As we alluded to in part 1, she is a coach for plus 30% red gems and 3 generation of red gems, so not too shabby there. From my perspective, finally, very appreciated from me that we have a coach that doesn't need to go to 35,000. Wow, it has been so long since we haven't needed to get someone absolutely maxed out to the very, very top. So very thankful to see that kind of working its way back into the game. Hoping that becomes somewhat of a trend, that maybe it's 26k and you only need 6-star bronze. Not really huge on the 35k side of things for coaches. And in regards to the character, she's another modern era. She's another striker. I'm not so sure that I really like her gameplay in regards to the requirement of how much money it costs and how good we already have modern striker females in both Naomi and Zombie Bailey. So I'm curious what everybody thinks about her coaching, her fighting, and the fact that she is being released into the game very similarly to OTC. No shard recruits. She's in the loot, and you have to essentially get 1,000 shards per week on the portal events if that's how you want to go about recruiting her. So, interested to hear everybody's outlook on the brand new Queen Nia Jax.
So, as someone who I'm using her now, I her moveset. So she's very versatile in the fact that she has a few different colors she could focus. And they're not like super high MP. She's a good card. She needed a 30 played on really to cross that threshold, I think. So I don't like that. I guess there's other ways you could do it. I haven't too much with her. As a card, that's fine. As a release, it's horrible. The no shard releases are everything about this whole MLC format they have is about progressively going after a card, and to release a whole card on a weekend. I mean, I just don't understand their thoughts with it. But other than make absurd amounts of money if they can, this isn't the card that OTC was different. OTC was male striker wasn't the greatest. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't. OTC striker is above and beyond one of the best strikers there is. So if you're gonna leave that for that type of card, great. To release this card on that same format, fine. I don't find the logic. And as a coach, she's just blah. We have that coach like 3 times already. So it just, to me, it's a miss on a lot of it. She's usable. I don't think she's going to replace Naomi or Bailey for me, but again, it is what it is.
I was happy to see they had a new Nia Jax in the game. It's about time. But the chances of getting her anytime soon, other than off of the club store, is probably not reasonable.
Yeah, that's the OTC vibe and feel to it is why bother even chasing? Just wait for the club, hit it off the club, right? It's
That was my take the whole time once I saw how they were going to release her. Like Evo said, OTC was special. He went right to the top of all the strikers for the men. She's just kind of you need the E plate to get her over that threshold, and again, like Evo said, she's not going to replace Naomi or Bailey for me. I'll just wait for the store and get her from there, or maybe not even waste the resources on that and just pick up the shards as they become available.
Yeah, I think that's the problem here. Is she was not as impactful to the game as OTC Roman was when he was released. So OTC Roman, when he was released, kind of filled in the void for a lot of players that felt like they didn't have a very strong modern striker male game. And he absolutely filled that void. For me, for example, I know I was using Zombie Sammy for the longest time, but Zombie Sammy still had a cap on how much damage he could hit. He's really good, don't get me wrong, but getting someone like OTC kind of made my need for Zombie Sammy to go way behind. And now strikers as a whole, strikers are really, really, really good compared to being or mid or I don't really care about any of them. Like for me, since Zombie Sammy came out, there wasn't really another striker that took his place until OTC. Like Bam Bam was good, but he needed his moment, which was super pricey. Hall of Fame Vader was good, but he was pretty clicky with his Power Gem moveset. Muscle Man was solid, but to me, at the time before his moment, he didn't do as much damage as a lot of people wanted him to do. And it took forever to load up the board with 49 gems and then to load it up with 49 more gems. It just felt like it was an eternity to win with him. Hall of Fame DDP was good with power gems, but again, it was like, I need to set up these power gems, I need to trigger it once, trigger it twice, trigger it 3 times, and then I'm finally good. So it was difficult to see any good strikers since then. Final Boss came out, not the greatest. Best There Ever Will Be striker Brett came out. Everybody was not happy with him, and still isn't happy with him. I found an interesting moveset with his power gems now after the turtles were released that I think makes him very usable in today's day and age. Batista Bomb is a lot of fun, but he's not someone that a lot of people will go above and beyond to working up and forcibly using. Zombie Sammy really filled that modern striker void. And then finally OTC comes out and you have a good striker, and that's like above and beyond. You're not talking about, oh, this guy hits for 60 million and that's good enough. No, like this guy hits for 9 figures pretty easily, and that's where your big bang is for that. And ever since OTC came out, boom, Bark at the Moon Ozzy comes out, Rabbit comes out, Cody Jones comes out, Jey Uso Yeet comes out. Like, there's plenty of strikers now that all have a lot of viability and power and strength. But for Nia, it's like you just entered, you entered the octagon against the reigning champ and the one who just beat the reigning champ. Like, Naomi and Bayley are no pushovers. They are tippy top notch in this game. So Nia, to circle back, does not fit the mold as someone who's going to be, your 9-figure hitting effortlessly character where you don't already have people hitting 9 figures. Because even with move damage, Bayley can hit 9 figures. Even with gem damage, Naomi can hit 9 figures. It's not like Nia is doing anything that the rest of the field can't do, just like what OTC was doing what the rest of the field could not do. That's, I think, where there's a big difference.
I think the one spot where she can do something different than most females is the power gem. But that is a clicky, cyclable. I think the Champions guys did a video on it where, she can drain you with power gems, but, it takes a minute. I think for her to fit this OTC mold, if she came out as, let's say, a powerhouse, even though powerhouse got a little bit of love lately, well, female trickster. How about a strong hitting female trickster that doesn't have some really crazy requirement? Then, it would have been a little bit more sense to me. But at striker, like you're saying now, there's no definitive quality that changes her from the rest.
Yeah, that's where I feel like it fell flat. And I don't know if Rusty's available right now or not, but Rusty also brought up a great point prior to the podcast kicking off. Nia Jax is not a needle mover in our current day and age of wrestling. Most people don't care to purchase Nia Jax merchandise. Where, like, OTC, when OTC came out, everyone wants to get an OTC t-shirt. Everyone wants to get an original Bloodline t-shirt. Everyone wants to go and purchase that merchandise. That's some of the biggest storyline in our day and age of wrestling, of real wrestling. Nia Jax is not pushing that type of narrative to getting people to spending their money on that merchandise. So I think it's really interesting. Like, I think it was the needle mover. I think that's the terminology Rusty was using. She's not the needle mover that OTC Roman Reigns is. So for us in the game to get that type of treatment as if she was the needle mover, as if she was, the OG, the strongest, the best, the baddest, like, she does not fit that mold. And so it's really odd to see this type of overly expensive release for this character that doesn't break the mold. This just feels like they're trying to squeeze us for everything that they're worth, but it's not worth it. And maybe that's just me on it, but I don't know, man. It seems like they swung and they missed on this one.
I would agree with everything that's been said. I do think it is good that we have a new Nia in the game, just because we haven't had one for what, like 6 years or something like that. We just have Powerhouse Nia, so it is nice to see her get a new poster in the game, since her return. But the amount of money you have to spend for the quality of card you are getting just is not worth it. It's not even close to worth it. And I actually agree with you too, Bob. I'm not a big fan of her gameplay. I've watched some of the videos, and I honestly, I don't have any interest in getting her a card. Yes, I think it's good we have a new poster where she should have one in the game, but like it's been said, she's not like a needle mover where I want to spend all this money to try and get her.
I haven't said much because I wanted to hear what the opinions were. And the other reason I didn't say much is I haven't watched a single video on Nia. I haven't seen her gameplay. I haven't looked at her poster. I've zero interest in her whatsoever. I hate her as a real life wrestler. She's funky and horrible to watch. I just no interest in her whatsoever within the game either, which has put me off going for her or spending any sort of money to try and get her or whatever. The only annoying thing is not having the CSS to be able to compete in the competitions that I want to compete in. But that is a product of not wanting her, I guess. I think it's a real waste. I think Scopely have overly delayed the release. It's released as Queen Nia, but actually she won Queen of the Ring in August. It's January now.
Yeah.
A lot's happened in the world since then. So, and she's not even a champion anymore. So, and I know she was when they released it, but it was always going to be short-lived a title reign. It's not like that she was going to hold on to it until Mania or anything like that. So,
Spoilers.
sorry. So I think it's a really poor release. But also, just touching on what Evo said about the fact that she's not even the best striker. She's not even like great in her own class. They've done that twice this month. So Lyra is potentially a really good card. And well, she is a good card. That's wrong for me to say, but she's potentially a really great card if she was a trickster.
Yeah.
Put her in Acrobat, and she's not quite as good as Indy.
The one thing I'll counter about Lyra is that you don't need multis with her. She does damage. So that is a definitive change in the aspect of the meta, to where she's now an acro. You could throw out there. Again, you need an E plate probably, but she's going to go out there and do the damage that without multis that the other acros cannot do without.
Yeah, but then like, a decent card shouldn't be dependent on a $500 plate. No,
I got you. Yeah.
It just Lyra is very good and she can hit really hard, but she's an acro and that is absolutely stacked. So she's not a game changer there. Whereas if you had made her a trickster, or even I don't like, I'm the wrong person to ask about Queen Nia because I haven't seen her or used her or anything like that, so couldn't say. But if she is any good, why not put her in a class that would make a difference? Even Powerhouse, our Powerhouses are okay at female. Chelsea and Zombie Liv, not bad, but it wouldn't be difficult to make something better there. Abby, I guess, as well, is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, there are three classes that could use help between on the female side between Trickster, Powerhouse, and Showboat, in my opinion. The other three have been focused on pretty heavily and have great cards, whereas there are a few good ones in the others, but it could have been better served there and maybe made more sense for the release type, but as it is, that Striker is kind of wild.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, the two strongest, like I think pretty much everybody would agree, would be Striker and Acrobat prior to Nia and Lyra. So why then make them those two classes? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
It does feel like male showboat all over again, right? Like you get all these male showboats that are so good, and you pile on another, and you pile on another, and you pile on. It's like, yeah, this guy might be the 6th or 7th best showboat. he could still wipe every 6-star gold in the game easy peasy. And it's like, why do I need a 6th or a 7th who can do that? It just feels like overkill. I am in the boat, however, of what Bunders just said. I do feel is spot on. I feel like if you're an S plus tier character, you probably shouldn't need that much to be good. And I don't like the idea that she needs that eat plate to be up there and comparable or just as strong as. Do I hear a little bit of Rusty over there in the background? Oh, sounds like Rusty accidentally unmuted. Yep, Rusty definitely accidentally unmuted. That's okay. We can chop that out. But yeah, I'm interested. B-Rock, I saw you unmute. I want to know what's your thoughts on our girl Nia Jax here.
So, to address sort of the conversation prior to that in regards to her merch and whatnot, as a yeah, he definitely unmuted.
I definitely think Rusty is unmuted by mistake.
We're gonna have a Shannon Sharp episode in a minute. Anyway, so in regards to that, I'm gonna say this: is she Tiffany Stratton? No. But she does have her place in the game, and she's I think this time around you're seeing better Nia than you saw years ago. With that being said, she does not have the curb appeal for a lot of people. She just doesn't. She's a bigger girl. She's a thickums. Look, I'm a brother from the city. I like them thick, so I'm good. I'm just saying, like, her curb appeal for the masses is probably not there. That being said, in the game, Scopely kind of did her dirty in the fact that you threw her out there with the expectation of these are going to be the requirements we're going to set for her. But the last person you set the same requirements for was Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of company, regardless of anything, you know, a regardless to any production, Roman Reigns, Nia doesn't have the same billing and doesn't have the same cachet to warrant the same rollout. So I think that's where you got a lot of people like, I don't care. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm one of these people. I like Nia. I don't care. I don't need her.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing about what she has right now that makes me say, I need that card.
Right.
So I think it's more or less the way she was rolled out comparable to what she does.
I think if she made it to the game, it's actually really funny. I think if this was inverted, I think if Nia was in Lyra's spot, and if Lyra Valkyria was in Nia's spot, you might see some different outlooks on it, I guess is probably the best way of wording it. I think Nia's good enough to be an S tier character, not an S plus. And I think that Lyra, with all of her gem boost damages and bonuses, could have possibly pushed an S plus tier narrative. But I think the issue with the S plus tier narrative, even for Lyra, would have been very identical to what everybody else in here is talking about, of why would I care to chase an acrobat that is this good? If it was a trickster or a powerhouse or a tech or, you know, whatever that might be, then you can argue, sure, this would have been great. Like if she was a tech or a showboat that's, you know, got all these crazy damage bonuses, wonderful. If she was a trickster, wonderful. Like it could have been different. But the fact that it is just striker and just acrobat, I think that's where there is a tremendous issue with players feeling like they have to invest and they are not getting their money's worth for how much they feel they need to invest. I think that's the severe problem there. That's the big time problem. That's also just my take on it, on Nia. I do get where you're coming from, B-Rock, that most people don't like her, and some people do like her, and again, to each their own. Everyone's got their own cup of tea, right? And I'm not talking about looks here, right? I'm just talking about as a wrestler. And maybe I'm a weird guy. I don't watch my wrestling for what a person looks like. I watch my wrestling for, you know, the storylines and how good they are in the ring. For me, I just, until this recent one, I have not been able to get invested into a Nia storyline, and I have never been interested in her in-ring work. I feel like it's always been mid-tier at the best. I don't enjoy like her abilities in the ring. Whatever you want to call it is fine, and that's just a me thing personally. Some people might absolutely love it. I am not one of those people. So just a bit tough for me to get behind the idea that she should be up there, you know, at the podium, so to speak, with someone like OTC, with a price tag similar to someone like OTC, with someone who in the ring is actually very good, OTC, or someone on the mic who's actually very good, such as OTC. Like, it's very hard for me to be sold that, yeah, Nia Jax is right there. It's like, no, Nia Jax is not right there with him. She just isn't.
They may be related.
She doesn't get any love for the Hurricane Rana from a couple weeks ago?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God.
No?
No. No, she does not.
The most love I will give her is it's epic. It's probably the best finisher in the game right now. But that's for another topic for conversation.
Oh, yeah, Evo loves the animations.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. Anything that anyone else has to comment on in regards to Nia, her coach, her fighting ability, or the fact that she was released essentially not identical but very similar to OTC Roman Reigns?
I just have one comment. It was for B-Rock. If you want to see a Hurricane Runner, go and watch Lita from 2007 or whatever it was. That's the Hurricane Runner.
No, yeah, Nia's more Hurricane Rana.
Yeah.
You see that too, Bob? Like I said, you know, more cushion for the pushing. That's all.
To each their own. All right, I'm not getting into this right now with you all. Shel, did you
put this to YouTube?
Yes, this is all going on YouTube.
I think B-Rock's trying to get it canceled.
B-Rock's trying to get my roundtable canceled before Volume 10. Any comments that you got for us, Shel, before we move on?
As a bigger girl myself, and at the risk of offending B-Rock,
Yes!
and my in-game life partner, Donjay, I can't stand Nia Jax. I think she's terrible on the mic. I think she's terrible in the ring. That's my personal opinion. And I've been a wrestling fan since I was a little kid. I can't stand her. Give me Piper Niven. Piper Niven is amazing in the ring. I like Piper Niven. So it's not about the size.
Piper's so good. So,
Yeah.
As
so
for
good.
the in-game thing, I have not paid any attention to her because I'm not getting her. Maybe down the line on the club store, but you've all hit the nail on the head for me. I don't really care because it's not. I have Bianca, and I have Naomi, and those are my striker girls. They put the work in. I do have bells and whistles. I don't need Nia. Like, so I'm not going to stress over her.
Mm-hmm. That's the smart way of looking at it. I'm also curious, kind of, to before we move on. Actually, that's a good point that Shel just made. Um, if you have, and again, I don't know what the price tag will be or anything like that, but let's just go based off of recent history. They add new characters to the club. The highest tier ones are typically 700,000. Let's say that you have 700K, or that you're chasing that 700K mark on the club store coins. Is Nia Jax gonna be someone that you're gonna spend 700K of the club currency on if you get there from the club store on the portal?
If she's the only one left, that's about the only chance it'll happen.
I'd take Bronson Reed over her.
Oh my god.
You know what, Bunders?
What's the
That's not
big-
nice. That's not nice, Bunders. That's not nice. But I will
I'm
say
not.
this.
I'm not a fan, B-Rock, and as
I can tell.
it's got absolutely nothing to do with the way she looks or anything like that. That doesn't bother me in the slightest. Because, like Chelsea Piper even is an awesome wrestler, but Nia Jax is not, and I think she's in the company because of her contacts and not because of what she actually can do. I hate that kind of thing. Nepotism and
She may not be the lowest on my list, but she is there. My highest is going to be Pyro Bliss still. I put off on getting her so I could get OTC. And I think I've used OTC like twice when I needed hit for CSS, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the thing. That's what it feels like, right? You would probably end up getting Nia if she was a CSS, right?
Yeah.
Like that kind of be it to me.
I think the better question is if they have Naomi pricing on Nia, would you get her?
Yeah.
If they had the
Yeah.
Naomi pricing
Yeah.
for Nia, then yeah, I'd get her that way.
If Nia's
Yeah.
200K, I will get her.
Agreed.
Anything else? Nah, they can keep her for a while.
All right, that's a fair question, Envy. Yeah, 200K. I could see myself picking her up for the CSS. But yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think Sorrel just said it. She's S plus, never be 200K. I mean, look, you never know. Dusty is A tier and he's 700K. Naomi was S tier and she's 200K. Rex Regum was S plus tier and he was 550. So you never know what exactly they will do.
I
really
will still
does
go
know?
down. I will go down as saying that I 100% think that Naomi pricing was an accident.
It's still there.
I know, but I'm saying I don't think they're going to change it, but I think it was initially an accident.
Maybe. But I think that's enough for our Queen Nia Jax conversations for now. We can go ahead and move on to the Striker Austin 316 revamp and the Royal Rumble daily rewards that came along with the revamp. That gave us a grand whopping total of 6,000 TP, 14,000 strap parts, 500,000 metal bits, 4 tier 5 medals, and 3 sets of 14,000 shards each and every day for 8 days straight. So there was a lot going on with the Royal Rumble event. not even an event. I guess it's the Austin revamp that they essentially turned into a mini Royal Rumble event for us there. We got a lot of characters in that, and I'm just gonna go ahead and list them all off really quickly. Day 1 was Trickster Theory, Hall of Fame Sergeant Tech AJ. Day 2 was Sika, Hall of Fame Trish, and Shelton Benjamin. From the Hurt Business, Shelton Benjamin is Acro. Day 3 was Trickster Eddie, Striker APA Farouk, and Sako. Day 4 was Stevie Ray from the NWO, JBL of the APA, and Empress Asuka. Day 5 was Zombie Cena, Soulman Rocky Johnson, and Bailey Role Model. Day 6 was Piper Niven, 123 Kid, and Tribute to the Troops, Trish. Day 7 was Cora Jade, Zombie Page, and Drew. I believe it was Tech Drew. And then day 8 was Walter, Otis, and Hall of Fame Brett. You got 14,400 shards for each of those, which is way past the recruit point that you need for any of them. So you ended up getting all of those characters or a bunch of shards for them, along with the Stone Cold Steve Austin revamp. I really thought this was way better than it had any right to be. I was blown away when I saw everything that you could get just by taking up a super old character that you already had, which they offered a 6-star fuse up for I think $5. And even if you didn't want to spend the $5, you already have Austin on your account and you could just work him up to the point that you need to get through the tours, which I think most people were getting through the tours at 5-star silver. It wasn't even that you needed 6-star bronze. So yeah, he's actually pretty good right now. Got a massive revamp on a lot of his moves that were entirely useless, like turning botch gems into immobile gems and weird things like that. He now has a strong bleed. He now has a black move that cycles his black gems. He has a bleed move that goes for 2 turns and will go for double the damage if you have a hardcore, so against a trickster setup. And his black submission now will recycle itself into more black sub gems, which is perfect because he has a gear that gives him black sub damage and another gear that gives him black sub turns. And he has a steel 10 MP move for black moves and yellow moves. And that's just his black setup. He also has a leech gem setup and turning almost the entire board into yellow gems, which is solid for a rosy plate, is what I was hearing. Some people were reportedly hitting 40 or 50 million damage with this guy at 6-star gold with, again, all the bells and whistles. But this is a character that nobody cared about whatsoever. And last but not least, his trainer got updated where, yeah, if you do take him 35k at 6-star gold, he's essentially the duplicate of Striker Ali. It's now, instead of 50% sub damage, 100% sub damage for all submissions. So, all in all, a great revamp on a horrible character, a solid trainer upgrade on one that felt super outdated, and a bunch of rewards that weren't half bad. What's everybody's thoughts on this, to me, really unexpected, rewarding revamp?
Honestly, I thought it was a great event. It was one of my favorite events that we've had in a while. The rewards were great. The revamp was very well done. I hope they do this as sort of event in the future more, at least in terms of the revamp. The only disappointment for me was that it was Striker Austin that was revamped. I would have preferred another character, like I voted for Acro AJ myself. I just would have preferred someone who doesn't have a good poster in the game would have gotten a revamp over someone who does have good posters in the game. But overall, it was a really great event for me.
Yeah, I echo what Chris says. I thought it was an outstanding event. I actually had my Austin already at 5-star bronze. I didn't touch him and beat all the tours, no problem at all with the bleed sub setup. That just all owed him. So it was basically really good rewards for not doing a lot at all. So I enjoyed the event from that perspective. But I also enjoyed just seeing, like you said, Bob, a character that, or a poster that nobody cared about whatsoever. It was just at your bottom of your roster, and it didn't matter at all. Like, become semi-relevant and usable. And I think they could do that a lot more. And the fact that they gave so many older posters the shards to everybody, so they could be recruited effectively for free. They could easily revamp all of those over time and make that a fortnightly thing or once an MLC thing that throughout the year those people are going to get upgraded and we'll have a similar event.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump in real quick, and I'm gonna say I had several people in my faction walk away with 6 or 7 new cards.
From that hard
that,
mode.
Yep, they ended up getting, the resources for, either shard recruiting or just outright recruiting overall. So that was a huge win. The TP replenishment, huge win. The medals and plate bits, huge win. I think the way they rolled it out over 8 days, huge win. Everything about this event is a win, except that it was Striker Austin, and it's just awful. And we're gonna keep, and I don't know why we do it, and I understand it's licensing, but come on. As we talked about it on last podcast, you have so many people that could use a buff. Just choosing, I actually think that I really am falling into the Bob conspiracy theory here now from last week or from 2 weeks ago, where they had already had him revamp and just said, "Hey, let's roll this out."
Oh, on the vote.
Just because it worked so well, everything was seamless. You turned him into something really good. I'm not gonna call him great, but he was really good. And once you locked in the sub, it was pretty much over. So can we do that with some of these other people, please?
Yeah, I definitely, and look, I know it's a conspiracy theory type of thing, but man, when you're talking, and even if you want to play on the low end, right, saying we have 40,000 people voting in this game or playing this game, and even if there's 10% of those people voting is 4,000 folks, I don't see how 1 minute, 2 minutes after the vote goes live, every single character has a ranging vote, from 1% all the way to 30 something percent. Some of them being ones and twos and 4, 5, 6, 7, and then all of a sudden there's 2 people like 21 and 37. It's like something's odd here when this vote has only been live for 2 minutes. But for those numbers to change a grand whopping total of 2 people going up 1% and 2 people going down 1%, if 4,000 people are voting, that doesn't seem right. And don't get me wrong, look, obviously everybody knows that I love Eddie Guerrero a whole lot. Definitely one of my favorites. But I'm not saying that I think he should have won the vote, but a lot of people that I know voted for Eddie. And his number never changed for the better or the worse for that matter. So just really odd that it does feel like they kind of just had it locked and loaded, and here you go. This is what we're going to do. We're going to give you the facade that, we're going to actually change who you want us to change, but in reality, we're just going to change who we want. Which, to be honest, I would have been fine if they flat out said, hey, everyone, Merry Christmas, all this type of stuff. Austin has a Santa gear, so we're giving him a remake on Christmas. Like, something like that would have been much better received, I think, than trying to give everyone the illusion that they're getting to pick who gets the revamp.
So, real quick, what's wrong with doing it with like Greg the Hammer Valentine?
I don't know.
The card that pretty much everybody has, that nobody uses. Same as Striker Austin. Like that would be that. I think that would have gone further, or give us a good Big E.
Yeah.
You know, there's cards here. Give us a good Sheamus that doesn't require Imperium. There's people out there that you could have used and furthered the gameplay that. And again, I think most people have Trickster Sheamus, or most people have Showboat Big E. You could have done this with so many different people. Let's think about it. Austin, you have Bionic Austin, great card. I know it's past his prime a little bit, but Zombie Austin, people still use him for certain things.
Yeah.
It's a really good card. So you have good cards under that name. Expand the wealth. I know that there's a lot of people who aren't under contract, but there are some people who still are. Backfill your resources.
The disrespect on Showboat Big E just there. He just got revamped and made into a god. And then they nerfed him immediately because they made him too powerful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was
And
so
then,
happy when they revamped him too. And it's part of the reason why you and I get along so well, because you and I play tested him for like what, 3 hours or some nonsense.
Yeah, it was great. For a good 3 hours, he was a god.
Yeah, and in the middle of play testing, it stopped working, and we're like, wait, why did this stop working? Oh, they probably changed it. Yep, they changed it.
So yeah, I mean, the event was great. I don't mind Austin getting another card, the icon and a pillar of WWE Attitude Era. So I mean, he can't have too many good cards in my opinion. So I'm one of the guys that voted Taker, to be honest with you, because Taker is one that has I don't know. We have Ministry Taker. So I mean, I guess even then you could say we have a good Taker too. But I don't care what they do as long as they make it good. They made the event really well for everyone. It was a card everyone mostly had. You could get them fused up for pretty cheap if you didn't have them. And they gave a ton of rewards. They were very generous with the rewards for just showing up and doing a tour that you had to click a couple buttons. The revamp itself, again, as someone from the penthouse, B-Rock's going to kill me for this, but I threw a 150 strap on him, the drip. And he's a murder monster now. So I know, but I'll never use him again, other than when it's required. So here's what it is.
Don't let B-Rock tell you he's not in the penthouse. This man has the luckiest pool luck I have ever seen in my life. It's insane.
Thoughts on the Austin stuff, Big Show?
As the event, it was great. I saw someone in the community say they picked up like 10 new posters out of the tours. You got a ton of TP, you got metal bits, strap parts for just logging in and playing the game. You know, it was nice. I'm in the belief with you is they already had it ready to go, and the whole vote was just a decoy to. But I mean, if they're gonna do this, even if they do it like once a quarter, and they do a tour like this with the Revamp Superstar, I think it's a big win for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it was so the numbers that I quoted at the beginning, right? When you total it all up over 8 days, you're talking about 48,000 TP. You're talking about, I know it's not a lot, but over 100,000 strap parts. You're talking about 4 million metal bits, which is a sizable chunk. And then you're talking about 24 characters. Which, yes, I'm sure that a lot of people out there have a lot of these characters already. But there's a good chunk of people out there who didn't have Trickster Theory, who weren't around for Hall of Fame Trish Month, who didn't have Empress Asuka, who probably till that moment didn't have Soul Man. 123 Kid, when he was very first released, was one of the worst shard releases to date because they give you 1, 2, or 3 shards of him. Cora Jade, I know, is pretty common for some people, but she was also a solid pickup too. Not to mention, I remember seeing someone talking about Hall of Fame Brett that they only just recently got him. Like, I get it that these are maybe not the tippy top characters and people that you're going to go 1-clicking and 2-clicking with, but a lot of these characters have very solid entourage abilities to help out an account as a whole, especially if you don't have them. I truly was blown away by the amount of rewards that this whole event had, and all that you had to do was use the brand new revamped Striker Austin, who, again, maybe he's not the absolute best ultimate one button click winner, but that guy's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. He's good. He really is. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
I mean, they had I believe one day was Zombie Cena in the reward.
Yeah,
when you get a zombie outside of zombie, or spring outbreak,
and Zombie Page. Zombie Page still is like what B-Rock said about Zombie Austin. She's just the female version of Zombie Austin. She's good too. Like there was some quality pickups in that event. So I was very happy. I was very impressed with how that all shook out. I was honestly not expecting anything more than a simple, here's the revamp, here's probably a single tour with 9 stars total. So it's 1 node in normal, 1 node in hard, 1 node in hell, and that's it, and you move on. That's all I was expecting. I wasn't expecting a tour that reset every day essentially for 8 days to give you 48,000 TP and 4 million metal bits. Like, I wasn't expecting that type of stuff, and even if you had all the characters, there was no reason to skip the tours. The resources were enough to justify going and logging in, even if you wanted to put it on auto like Bunder said, and letting it auto through the tours is fine. Take your 10 minutes and then take your resources and walk away. Who doesn't want 6,000 TP for logging in on the day? Who doesn't want 500,000 metal bits? Even the shards for the people that have them, who doesn't want conversion shards at this point? Like, it's good. It was really honestly good. I was very happy, very pleased with that event. Envy, I don't think I've heard from you on the Austin stuff. Do you have anything to chime in with?
I was thrilled. I thought it was a glitch when I first saw those shards in the hard mode at the level they were giving them. I was like, oh, maybe they messed up, but they were serious. They were out here just giving us stuff. And their purple TP, really appreciate it. Give me more.
Yeah, I think I was actually streaming when it first hit, and I was caught off guard and thought it was a mess up too. I was like, I'm not sure if this is intended, but that's Trickster Theory. For anyone that doesn't have him, because Trickster Theory wasn't the most common character in the game. That's just the Trickster Theory just sitting out there for anyone that wants to go ahead and pick him up. Like, go play hard mode. Like, that was awesome. So yeah, very, very thrilled with the Austin content there, for sure. Anything else on the Austin event? Sorry, Shel, I don't think I heard from you on this one.
Okay, segueing from glitches. I agree with everybody that this was a boon for the community. Like, this was great. I unfortunately had the pleasure of having a glitched account. So I have 2 Austins on my account. One is 6-star bronze, and the other was like 5-star silver. I don't know why. I don't know how, but every other match, it kept trying to swap out the Austins from the one that I had set up to the other one. So it was a bit annoying for me, but first world problem. So I'm not complaining about anything. I don't know why it's glitched. I don't care, but it is. It's not someone I use often.
Yeah, I had something similar with Powerhouse Phenom Taker, which I hadn't realized. I guess it's been there for I reached out to support and they fixed it immediately, which, thankfully to them, super quick fix. And I even asked them, like, when did this happen? And they sent me a message. It happened sometime back in like 2022 or 2023. So for like almost 2 or 3 years, I've had a dupe Undertaker on my account and haven't noticed it because it's like, who the hell uses Phenom Taker? Like, I'm not using this guy.
Shows you just how much.
It was just so random. And like on top of that, I think what they did was they actually gave me shards for the character because all the shards that I should have gotten from dupe pulls and things like that were not being credited to my account because it went to the dupe, which I guess doesn't exist. So they sent me something like 300,000 or 400,000 shards with the character that I had missed out on this entire time, which I'm like, hey, I have conversion shards finally. I wonder where all these went. So like it's a quick fix from support. But yeah, very, very odd. Very odd experience for sure.
I know what I'll be doing this afternoon.
Yeah, send him a quick ticket.
I had the same thing with Lawler for a while, and even though I tried to use them, both of them, you can only use one at a time anyway. So it's just something that happens occasionally with the roster.
Oh yeah, I noticed it again when I was trying to like switch off a promoter off of one of them onto one of my females. I couldn't do it from that screen. I had to go to a different screen because of whatever that glitch was stopping me from moving promoters. It was weird.
So odd. Well, hopefully sports gets taken care of.
Okay.
But yeah, anything else anyone's got to comment on in regards for the Striker Austin stuff before we move on to the finale of our podcast here? Alrighty. On to the best of 2024. We have the current contest going on right now. We have the best of 2024 Flash feuds that are currently live. There is the premium prize wall medallion wall. There is the new Battlegrounds payouts for the feud itself. Lots of stuff going on for this weekend in terms of it actually being the best of 2024. As I kind of alluded to earlier in the podcast, Nia Jax was mentioned to have been in the loot this weekend and then got subject to changed out of the loot. The top leaderboards for each war score pays out 1 premium prize wall medallion. The spend event will pay out, I believe it is 3 medallions for first place, 2 medallions for second place, 1 medallion for the top 20 players. And that premium prize wall has a lot of stuff on it for the best of 2024. If you're watching on the YouTube playback of our podcast, you'll actually see me going through the prize wall right now because this is live in game as we're talking about it. So lots of skill plates, which include the Tama Chest, Shades of Reigns, the Let Me Talk to You. There is the Finery plate on there. There's the Timeless Style, the Tiffy plate on there, and plenty more skill plates. And then you actually get to the real, juicy section of the wall. They have full posters on this wall as well. So 5-star gold, Abby the Witch, Uncle Howdy, Ilya Dragunov, OTC, Muda, Rex Regum, Muscle Man, Hall of Fame Brutus, who's probably not worth it until he gets fixed, as Evo will so kindly point out. Naomi's on there, Maxine, Charlotte, Jacob Fatu. Like, it's got a lot of stuff from 2024, all ranging from 1, 2, or 3 medallions. The first premium medallion that you can get is in one of the later 9 million point milestones in the solo event. There is another one at the very max milestone of 12 million points in the solo. And then, as we mentioned already, if you get first place on any of the War Score events, you will be able to get 1 medallion. And then I believe if you get first place on the Battleground event, you will get 2 medallions. And outside of that, the Spend solo event, you will end up getting 3 in first place, 2 for second, and 1 for top 20. So that is where you can get your medallions. I also believe that I was told earlier there is 1 premium medallion on the portal for spending 900. So spend 900 USD on the portal will get you 1 premium medallion there as well. So lots of premium medallion stuff that you can pick up. The availability of the premium medallions, not so good. That's why they're premium. And then there's the regular prize wall, which has a lot of the S tier characters' gears that we've been provided with in 2024. Julius Creed, Charlotte Flair, Maxine Dupree, Jacob Fatu, as we've all talked about. There's some big boy gem damage straps for a lot of the stables, I guess is what they're called. So like Get the Tables, Creed Brothers, New Bloodline, Wyatt 6, things like that. And then what we were talking about actually before the recording went live, there's a lot of shards available. They're all 100 shards, and they all have a very weird amount of prize wall currency that corresponds to it. So Abby the Witch is 100 for 7, Uncle Howdy is 100 for 11, Jade Cargill is 100 for 16, OTC is 100 for 11, Rex Regum is 100 for 7, Devon Dudley's 100 for 19. There's a weird dynamic in regards to how much each of them are costing. But this is our best of 2024 in a kind of just one big lump sum event. So I'm curious, is anyone going to be trying to chase any of these premium medallions? If so, what is it that you are aiming for from these medallions? And something to note, a lot of people are used to the 500 million war score event. That is not live anymore as of this moment. It is a 300 million war score event with very scaled back scaling. If you remember this from a few months ago when they changed Flash Feuds, you essentially get 199 million points if you do all your CSS. The max is 300 million points, but you get 2 points per war score. And then you essentially have, I think it's 24 million points for your first 2 million war score that you earn. So definitely a big shakeup in terms of the scoring for this Flash Feud this time around. Lots to talk about in regards to the best of 2024 Flash Feuds this weekend. Anybody up for going first on their thoughts for the best of 2024?
I definitely enjoyed the feud, at least the first feud starting out, where you got to break out Abby, who's always a joy. Use my Tiffy that's underleveled but good enough to be top line good. And who else we had there? Had a lot of people. Had was it Jade? Got some of Jade with the Godflow build. Who people said Jade was risky, but when you just take the risk out and just put multiple gems down and just match over them, oh man, that was easy work. And Naomi, oh Naomi's a joy. Always been a joy, always will be a joy. Well, where do we get that gear? Why is that on the prize wall? That was a disappointment to me.
Oh, the Naomi gear not being available on the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good gear.
It's never available. I don't think I've seen it since it very first came out.
Why don't you go ahead, Bunders? Let me know what you think of 2024.
Yeah, so I guess just this is my first year of playing, so it's like the best of my first year. I think so. I think it's unlikely I'll get many premium medallions. 1, possibly 2, depending on if I spend any more. So I'm not really have looked too much at the premium price wall because I don't think that I'll be spending much time on it. The shards seem really oddly priced. I don't see how Abby the Witch shards and Uncle Howdy shards could be almost half, or in fact over half as much as what Devon Dudley shards would be. That seems very strange. Like they've got that the wrong way round, but I guess they are what they are. As far as the event goes, yeah, it's just a standard Flash Feud, really. I don't. There hasn't been much change in Flash Feud since I started, and yeah, this is just the one. And the CSS is okay in general. I think I've got more of the male characters for the second half because I haven't got Lyra or Nia for this. I think it's. I understand having Lyra as CSS at this point in the month, because there'll be a good chunk of people that have recruited her, but there's not going to be many people that have Nia, so I think it's harsh having her as a CSS, but that always happens. So, yeah, that's about it as far as my thoughts go.
Yeah, the Nia CSS, not so great. Not even gonna lie. It does seem like there's actually a lot more Nias out there than I thought. Close to about maybe 200-ish of them, which is very shocking for what I thought there would be out there. But yeah, it definitely seems like it's a bit on the tough side for sure. Some of those CSS. Big Show, talk to me. This is your event. It's feud weekend, brother. I want to hear what you got for me on the best of the weekend.
Yeah, it's a standard Flash feud. I took a quick glimpse at the prize walls, and I'm hoping to get 2 premium medallions just to get the Tiffy plate, but not sure if I'll get there. I'm definitely not spending $900 to grab one. A lot of good stuff there. The one medallion, if you can get to the 9.6 or 9.8 milestone range. If you're missing any of the shards, or if you're missing the poster at all. The regular prize wall, the Maxine gear is big shout out if you can get to 70. I don't know how easy that'll be. I haven't masked anything out. Nia as the CSS is just not right. Just not right. But they did the same thing with OTC when they released him. He was heavy CSS for the first month or two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. Not feeling like a best of, huh?
No, not really. And a lot of that is because I'm not really missing anything off of the prize walls except for like the Tiffy plate and the gear. Hall of Fame page gear. I pulled Julius Creed's last month, or the first feud, from those chests that they did for the faction milestones. I gave it a shot last night. Then I'll give it another shot tonight and see if I can snipe one away from a few individuals. But yeah, that's about it.
Well, I wish you the best of luck then, brother. It sounds like you're knee deep in it right now.
No, I got out of the brawl just in time.
Well, as always, I do wish you the best of luck with it, man.
Thank you.
Shel, thoughts on the best of Flash feuds?
Kind of what Big Show said. I'm just kind of meh about it. I did. I enjoyed the first one immensely. You know, I had all the CSS. I had the line bonuses.
Mm.
That was enjoyable. I do have a pretty decent women's roster, so I enjoy using them. Get my money's worth out of them. Anytime I get to use, you know, Naomi, it's always a pleasure.
Yep.
Not so much this feud currently. It was a little rough. No Nia, no Lyra yet. I'll get Lyra by the end of the weekend, I think. Like
Okay.
based on like where the shards are and everything. But but not looking forward to the other one because I don't have Howdy, and there's another one I don't have. I don't remember now. But is what it is. And I also like the weekends are also rough because I work. You know, you Bob, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
But others don't. I work 2 jobs. So I work on the weekends, so I work at night. So flash feuds are weird. It's much better than previously because previously I used to miss an entire feud with my old job. Now I just miss like the first hour or two of 2 of them. But overall, exactly what Big Show said. Like, kind of meh. I'm not missing a whole lot off of the prize rolls, and I'm definitely not spending enough to get probably what I am missing. So, it's what it is.
It's a fair point. All right, Chris, talk to me. What's your thoughts on this whole feud situation? Love to hear from one of the new roundtable members here.
So for me, I agree with Shel, to be perfectly honest. It's kind of just meh for me. It's flash feuds, which I do enjoy feuding, so that's good. But it'll be interesting to see how many, like, you know, if I can get enough to get a gear. I highly doubt it. I don't think I'll spend that much. You know, like whose shards I can get if I can recruit anyone new. I do like the variety of things that are on the prize wall this time. There's quite a bit of variety. Seems like more than usual, so I do appreciate that. But overall, it just feels like, oh, it just feels like a pretty standard Flash feud. It doesn't necessarily feel like a best of 2024 Flash feud. It doesn't feel like there's anything been done to make it, you know, stand out as like the best of 2024.
It's a fair point.
And one thing I'd like to add, you know, like the best of 2024 Flash feud, it feels like it's only the best of the last 3 months, 4 months, if you want to take the zombies out. Where's the CSS portion of it? You've got nobody from January, February, March.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Jacob Fatu CSS, right? Like, even if you want to say that it's rare, there's no Rex Recom CSS. There's no Sami Zayn the Champ CSS. There's no Muda. There's no CM
There's no
Punk.
Hall of Fame Beefcake.
There's no Hall of Fame Beefcake. Shout out Evo. Even though they're selling Get the Table straps, there's no Get the Table CSS. Like, yeah, it really does feel like it's essentially just this. Like, it's the past couple of months, so it feels like more like the best of Q4 than it does the best of 2024, right?
Yeah.
So kind of upsetting there, to be honest.
Much like a lot of the stuff over the last couple of months in general, it lacks imagination.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, this feud is just another Flash feud. Nothing crazy. The prize wall is, you know, it's loaded. If you get there, it's all about how much you want to spend, how much you want to play. Just like anything else, really. I mean, I'm personally gonna go after the DDP gear because I'm missing it. It'll complete the set for his gears, and I think that'll change him a little bit. But you know, as we talked about it, as this podcast actually, thinking about the amount of strikers I have and that I don't need to use. I mean, it's if I get there, I get there. I'm not gonna go stress myself over it. So, and with the CSS, yeah, it's really loaded as the last couple months. It's a Scopely event. Best I could put it.
It's the best of 2024 Scopely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, it feels like there's a lot there, but it also feels like it is very tough to get there. It's not this is not as rewarding, I guess, as the Austin event, which is rewarding in its own right. It's just such a weird dynamic and weird difference, to be honest. Very odd experience. B-Rock, hit me with your thoughts on this one.
I think everybody has the same sentiment in regards to this. I will say that there are some things on the prize wall that I think will be beneficial to most of the community. But the luxury items, unfortunately, 70, 100 medallions, it's like, ugh. But then they turn around and give you 100 Uncle Howdy shards for 11. So, there's stuff in here for pretty much everybody. I will be going after those Bodacious Becky shards because I only need 35, so I will then have recruited her.
Hey, best of luck.
But outside of that, like it's okay.
Yeah.
Kind of how I think everybody's saying the same thing. It's like there's no eye popping. Oh my god, that was a great thing. I don't think there was anything that's a standout.
Yeah, it's a real awkward experience, I gotta say. Go on, Chris.
Did anyone else? Is there anything going on Sunday besides the last Flash feud? Because when I looked at the blog, I don't remember seeing anything for tours or anything. Did I just miss something?
I think somebody had mentioned that earlier, that it doesn't look like there's anything happening on Sunday.
It just seems weird that there would be nothing happening on Sunday.
It did look very odd, to be honest.
And I'm gonna be a little. I've always said, we need a weekend every now and again where they don't release a new card, and boy, I'm eating my words on this weekend. Because it seems like they lose all innovation when that happens. I don't know. It could have been a little bit better.
I feel like maybe I'm a little weird on this one with the idea that they made this a best of event. That's the whole marketing ploy and strategy. I don't know that this one delivered up to the moniker. I feel like, yes, while there's a lot on the wall and there's a lot to be had, it's a hit and a miss. They made a lot of stuff available. They didn't make it available enough for the people that want to hit it, if that makes sense. And the people that want to hit it probably at this point already hit it earlier in the year. So it feels like a real tough spot for a lot of players to be in. Like, if you really wanted to get Jacob Fatu gear, you're not waiting until this event to go and get 100 prize wall medallions. Like, if you really wanted to get Maxine gear, you probably weren't waiting for this event to hit 70 prize wall medallions. If you really wanted to get OTC, you're not spending $900 for OTC this weekend to max out the solo event, to get the extra medallion, to get him. You would have probably already gotten it by now if you feel like you wanted to get it. I feel like that's kind of the point that we're at. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's definitely what it feels like.
I will say I've been chasing that the DDP gear, and this is really the first time I've seen it available anywhere since the release, honestly.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I do feel like there's obviously something on there for everybody, right? Like, even the Big Show was talking about how he wanted to get a Tiffy plate, which is what I was looking at on the wall. It's like, yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe I can get a Tiffy plate. And then I'm looking at the price of it, and it's like, I have no reason to spend money this weekend. And I don't think that that's what they're looking for. That's kind of the issue. I feel like they missed the mark. I feel like they want to provide enough that for people that want to spend money, that they feel incentivized to spending money. And they need to provide enough for the people that don't want to spend money to feel incentivized to playing the feud. So that's the problem, I guess. There's no ground where you feel comfortable enough in quote unquote spending enough. It feels like this is again kind of similar to what were all of the events leading up to this point in the week, where they had those playback events of the presents and the candy cane stuff and the bonus bucks and the Black Friday and all that stuff. It just feels like this is a culmination of all of it combined. B-Rock, I saw you unmuted. Anything to say there?
I don't. Okay, so I have a question, and this is. I don't know if somebody did it or if it was leaked or something along those lines, but did anybody else see that Showboat Gunther?
Yeah, it looks like there was a leak in the game for King Gunther. Why? What's up?
I was just curious, like, is because I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think of something that where I think Evo said that he's going after the DDP gear, and it's like, okay, is there something that they could have done to make this a little more than what the lackluster feel that I think everybody has? And I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, maybe that is a Sunday thing. Maybe that is a hey, let's start, sort of like the Ozzy tour or that type of thing in order to get some traction. Maybe, I don't know.
He's next week's boss, isn't he?
I think the assumption is that he's going to be next week's boss. I don't think there's any proof to that, obviously. Everything, again, is always subject to change in this game. But yeah, I think there's a good chance that he is the boss character. But no, I don't see anything for this Sunday when you read the blog at all. It's just kind of blank. There's all the... I mean, I guess... Well, yeah, I mean, after the Sunday feud, I should say. The Sunday feud, that's it. Once reset hits, you're done. I guess that's... If I had to make an assumption, which I hate doing, I'm probably going to assume that Sunday is when they come out with some quote-unquote monster deals that they're going to try and get people to spend on some prize wall, whether it's regular or premium for. And that's where they're going to try and make their money by squeezing it out of everybody on the last day possible. That you can catch up to all your content, you can see where you're at, see where your prize wall medallions landed you, and if you want to get any more. But yeah, I mean, this was a tough one. I'm glad that again it has so much available, but I don't think I see the value with how much it's going to cost to get everything. Right? That's just the nicest way of saying it. If you wanted Uncle Howdy, you got him on Black Friday. You didn't wait for today to go and get his full poster for 3 premium medallions. If you wanted Abby the Witch, you went and got her. You're not waiting for today to get her on 3 premium medallions. And that grouping of players that wanted it would have gotten it by then. that's where the hang up is. So, to me, good concept, not so good execution. Anything else on the best of 2024 Flash Feuds?
I think since it was such a negative reaction to the best of 2024, maybe we should do what you did, what you said, Bob, and finish on everybody's favourite in each class. At least that's a positive finish,
Yeah.
not such a downer.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we wrap up the podcast, I was thankful enough and grateful enough to be invited on to the content creator Christmas stream. So hopefully that means some good news for me to be making it in the near future. But what they did on there, and huge shout out to DJ for doing such a great job of hosting it, actually. He had a great idea where everyone kind of went through and listed off their best of 2024 characters. And so we did a whole thing on class. So your best in class for the year. For those that don't know, you can go onto the Superstar Guide, and if you look at it historically, the last character, I should say the first character released in 2024 was Hall of Fame Tori and Hall of Fame Ray. So anything before that will be excluded from the conversation. But if you guys want to go through, I guess, a best of 2024 and who you all thought best in class was, now would probably be the time. And I think it also might be kind of fun to think what the best skill plate of 2024 would be also. And I can go ahead and get that list ready while everyone leaves behind their best of 2024 characters. Anybody want to start off? We can start off with the, I don't know, we've talked a lot about it today, so let's start off with the striker class.
Yeah, I'll start. Striker class, I would probably say my favourite is Zombie Bailey.
Can definitely dig Zombie Bailey being up there. That is for damn sure. That I believe is who my pick was as well.
Only because she is my daughter's favorite wrestler. Striker Naomi has a special place in my heart.
It's a great choice too. I mean, she's awesome.
It's Zombie Bailey for me. I love move damage people, so it was really nice to have her come out, this year that's been dominated by gem damage and bring move damage back in the game.
Good to know I'm not crazy for thinking it was Zombie Bailey. Anybody else chiming in with their votes for best of?
Could be Naomi for me. I much prefer playing her than Bailey.
So 2 Naomis, 2 Baileys.
I guess no one liked the male strikers this year, apparently.
So I guess I'm gonna buck that trend here real quick. No judgment from the penthouse, but I'm gonna say OTC Roman, because I just got him, even though wasn't super excited when I got him. After I've leveled him up, now I use him a lot. So he's my best male striker. It was the Rabbit, but now it's OTC.
All right, OTC Roman gets a vote.
I told you guys, B-Rock's in the penthouse. He's not in that single family home.
Lay it on,
I'm actually gonna go with the Rabbit.
Wow.
Not because of more of a I have Bray Wyatt held a nice little special place in my heart. And when he passed, I think anything they do to honor him is kind of goes above and beyond for me. And him running as the Rabbit, I like him when he was Eric and Rowan, with the Bludgeon Brothers. So the Rabbit for me.
All right, I can dig it. Big Show. You're our last one.
I want to say Bailey, but not having a 100% strap. Kind of leaving Naomi for the women, and for the men, I'm torn. My OTC is still level 1. Haven't seen a reason to bring them up if I can use the power gems and do the same thing.
Yeah.
For the men, Casey Jones looks pretty cool, and for some reason, I have a knack for pulling every Cody Rhodes on release weekend. I like Rabbit. He's strong,
Well,
even after the 99 FA.
Who's your best of? So we got what, Naomi, you said? For females?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say Naomi.
All right. So we got 3 Naomi, we got a Zombie Bailey, we got an OTC, and we got a Rabbit. So that's pretty solid for strikers. All right, let's move in order of class. So strikers have a class advantage against tricksters. So who was everybody's favorite trickster on the year? Also, just so that it's on the record, for those that didn't watch the stream, my official pick was Zombie Bailey for best striker of the year. Tricksters, though, what has everybody got for the trickster class?
Best trickster's easy for me. That'll be Uncle Howdy by a million miles.
Uncle Howdy, fair enough.
Yeah, I gotta say Uncle Howdy.
Got another one for Uncle Howdy. Good stuff. Anybody else on best tricksters? B-Rock, I saw you unmuted.
Yeah, so mine's a tie, and it's Mosh and Thrasher.
Wow.
Me, Sensei Kreese, Mosh and Thrasher, we all went to school together. So once they went in the game, I kind of wailed out that weekend. So they're gonna be mine.
Mosh and Thrasher was actually November of 23. They did not come out in 24.
Oh, I thought they were the beginning.
Nope. The beginning is Hall of Fame Tori. Hall of Fame
Oh, all
Tori.
right. So then, hold on. Let me relook.
Yep. So our list of tricksters on the year is Hall of Fame Tori, Hall of Fame Brutus, Pop Style Shinsuke, Get the Tables Bubba, Goat Ali, Akam from the Final Testament, Andrade, Canadian Trish, Ozzy Osbourne, Tamatonga, Donatello, both pre and post revamp, Zombie LA Knight, Uncle Howdy, and the Awesome Truth R-Truth.
Oh, that's a bunch of crap. So,
someone was not a fan of tricksters this year.
I'm gonna go with Ozzy because Ozzy's, I don't have Uncle Howdy, so I can't roll that way. But
Sure.
I'm gonna go with Ozzy.
All right, so we got Big Show with Uncle Howdy, Bunders with Uncle Howdy. We got B-Rock with Ozzy.
I'm actually going to back up B-Rock on this one. I'm going to go with Ozzy as well. He just was such a game changer for so many people in this game this year. I think he deserves a huge shout out, so I'm going with Ozzy.
It's a very fair point. He was definitely a huge pickup for freebies. Envy, talk to me. Best trick.
Since I actually quit on the Ozzy month, I don't have a gold Ozzy, so he's out of the running. I haven't even took time to take him up. So I'm gonna go with the need to be fixed Hall of Fame Brutus.
The need to be fixed Brutus. I love it. Brutus is a great choice, especially with both gears. Even if he isn't fixed yet, he's still very strong. I still think he's the strongest Hall of Fame in the game.
I got like 30 shards of Brutus.
Well, January's right around the corner for Hall of Fame month, B-Rock, so then you'll have 60 shards. Nothing to worry about.
I think my favorite trick for the year was it was gonna be Bubba, and then Donatello came along, so it's Donatello.
Dang, so you're taking Donatello over over the love that you have for Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy.
Yeah,
Was it Donatello before the rework or after?
both. Because I shoved it in everyone's face. He was good before, and then he was even better after. So it just validated my opinion.
I can attest
But,
Evo did love Donatello before the rework.
Uncle Howdy, me, I thought was a little bit. He was too hard to get, so it kind of took away from a little bit for people. So I don't see him as being as available to everyone. So like Ozzy was a great card too for everyone. Changed the game for everyone. Especially at that time when tricks were really bad. But I mean Donatello, I'm a Ninja Turtle fan too, so I got to give it to him on this one.
Fair enough. All right, Shel, bring us home. Favorite trickster, best of 2024. Who's your best of for the tricksters?
I did not have the pleasure of getting Howdy or LA Bite, so I'm gonna go Ozzy. I think Ozzy was one of the best ones this month for multiple reasons, especially like how everybody was saying that he was like such a great pickup for most of the community that it was just so easily accessible. I think that was definitely a win.
Yeah, I definitely I could see the support for Ozzy for sure. I was very close to giving him my best of vote. My official best of vote for Trickster was also Uncle Howdy. Happy to see him make the game. Super strong character, fantastic coach. Obviously, the storyline that goes with it, very intense stuff there. So we have 3 Ozzies, 3 Uncle Howdies, 1 Donatello, and 1 needs to be fixed Hall of Fame Beefcake. So
just as a little asterisk, Bob, on the Aussie, I think since I started playing anyway, that was the best introduction that Scopely made as a regular task, if you like, the Aussie type event that they have each month where you guaranteed a 6-star for playing. Although they absolutely ruined it this month because unless I'm missing something, there isn't enough points to get to 17 million. So you can't get a gold archer.
I believe there is enough points. We're probably waiting for the King Gunther Snow Globe to show up for week 5 if I had to make a guess. But they were trying to keep it as a surprise. That I'm sure will get added to the game for the extra million points.
Fair enough.
So
But yeah, I think that as an addition for the whole community, giving them the opportunity to get a 6-star gold every month, or at least a very high ranked card every month. We might not quite make it a 6-star gold without spending, but there's a good chance.
Oh yeah. All right, let's move on to our technicians. Tricks have the class advantage on techs, so we're going to techs. Our best of 2024 tech pool is existing of Hall of Fame Neidhart, Bodacious Becky, CM Punk, Karrion Kross, Charlotte Flair, The Miz, Julius Creed, Ilya Dragunov, Mae Young, Tongaloa, Mercy the Buzzard, and Shredder Roman Reigns. Who do we got for tech?
Class. Well, that could be Julius Creed for me, though.
Julius taking the vote from Bunders. I can dig it.
I second that this was a loaded class this year. There's so many fantastic cards that came out for it. For me personally, I'm probably going with Ilya.
Yep, that's also a fair choice there too. I was thrilled to see how many good technicians there were added to the game. To me, tech was one of the worst classes, bar none, for males. So I was happy to see some pickups there.
I was gonna say I think that tech wins as a class overall for 2024.
Yeah,
but my pick is gonna be the Queen Charlotte.
Queen Charlotte Flair.
I use her every chance I get. She's amazing.
Yeah, she is. Who else do we got putting votes up? We got one for Charlotte. We got one for Ilya. We got one for Julius.
I mean, Shredder and that finish. Come on.
Shredder, that finisher.
The Soul Snatcher. I mean, come on. It is what it is.
Yep. So Evo's going Shredder. I can dig it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Shredder
second
does
that.
have fantastic moves. His move animations are awesome.
Yep. Say again, Envy.
I'm gonna second that the original tail stabber for the win in tech.
Oh my god, I love it. Yeah.
That is nowhere on the card, Envy. Nowhere on the poster whatsoever.
It's in the animation from behind, right through you.
All right, let's get you off the hot mic. B-Rock, lay it on me. Best tech of the year.
All right, my vote is going to be a little skewed here. I'm choosing The Miz
The Miz, the must-see superstar.
because we got the moment,
Sure.
and that moment is awesome. That's the best moment in the game for a reasonable price.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's on the month-long midweek walls nowadays too. So I can respect that. I definitely can respect that. Big Show, take us home. Best tech of 2024.
I love Shredder's animations, but I gotta say Ilya.
Goes to Ilya for Big Show. All right, so I mean that was a pretty widespread class there. We had one vote for Miz, one vote for Julius. We had one vote for two votes for Shredder, two votes for Ilya, and I ended up saying also on the official stream that my vote was Charlotte Flair. Charlotte gets my vote because before her, Technician Female was just absolutely dog poor. It was so bad. So yeah, thrilled that Charlotte was added to the game. She's a fantastic addition to anyone's roster. Arguably the best tech in the game for females right now. I do see the love for Ilya and it makes sense, but man, Charlotte is way up there for me. Let's move on to powerhouses, since tech has the advantage over powerhouses. So powerhouses on the year, we have Hall of Fame Mick Foley. We got Rockin' Roman Reigns. There is the Glamour EST Bianca Belair. There is the Bionic Redneck Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Final Testament Razor. The Creed Brothers Brutus Creed. The Story Continues. Cody Rhodes. Rey Mysterio as Raphael, both pre and post the revamp. Zombie Chelsea Green. Zombie CM Punk. Abby the Witch. And now JD McDumpsta. Who does everybody have for the powerhouses?
For me, it's post-revamp Rey Mysterio, Raphael.
Raphael's a great choice. Definitely love the post-revamp for him. And he makes it pretty much into every one of my lineups now.
Evo will tell you he was just as good before, but he wasn't.
He won't say just as good, but he's going to tell you that he was great still.
Yeah.
I have videos of him doing 130 million, so stop it. Before the rework.
All right.
Yes, I'll go next. I'll second Raphael. I think he's a great card. I'm talking post rework. He's a ton of fun to play. He's one of my favorite cards to use. I do want to shout out Z Chelsea though. I think she was a huge boon to everyone because Powerhouse Women is a very weak class, and she was very helpful to many. And although I know he didn't come out this year, the Powerhouse Hogan rework is awesome too.
Oh yeah. Powerhouse Hogan rework, he's fantastic as well. But yeah, we got 2 votes for Turtle Ray. Who else is joining the Powerhouse voting squad?
So I'd like to vote for Abby the Witch.
Nobody's voting Brutus Envy.
Come on
Yeah.
now.
We could vote Brutus for best gear of 2024. Alright, so Envy with the Abby the Witch vote. Anybody else on powerhouses?
I'm gonna say Austin,
Big
only
Show
because I
taking
just took
Austin.
Ray Gold.
Only because you just took Ray Gold.
Yeah.
Alright. So one vote for Austin.
I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring for Ray as well.
So 3 for Ray. I like it.
I'm actually gonna
Look at that.
go with Rowan.
Rowan, he didn't get released in 2024. He got reworked in 2024.
And we're talking about reworked, and we're talking about Michelangelo. Hell, we gotta talk about all the reworked.
Yeah, but they got released in 2024. If that's the case, then we could all take Powerhouse Hogan.
Yeah, that would be my next target. CM Punk, I'm gonna go with. He's just too quick to kill. So
Zombie Punk.
yeah.
B-Rock, give me your vote.
You know it's going Raph.
Another Raphael vote. Wow. So let's see. We got one Austin from Big Show. We got one Zombie Punk from Evo. We got one Abby from Envy. Everybody else took Raphael. I will say that my official vote that I made on the stream was also Zombie CM Punk. So huge fan of Mr. Zombie Punkaroonie. Next up, we got Acrobats. Acros did not have any Hall of Famers released this year, and hysterically enough, there's a huge gap between 2023's Acros and 2024's Acros. The last Acro to be released in 2023 was Zombie Becky. The first Acro to be released in 2024 was Heavy Metal Mommy Rhea Ripley. So the Acros start with Rhea Ripley, Kabuki Warrior Kairi Sane, Devon Dudley get the tables, The Great Muda, Sami Zayn, The Champ, Tiffany Stratton, Jacob Fatu, Seth Rollins, Leonardo, and this month's Lyra Valkyria. Very curious to hear who everybody's best of 2024 Acro will be.
Well,
I think it's a done deal, isn't it?
Who do you got, Bunders?
Jacob Fatu, without a shadow of a doubt.
Jacob Fatu coming from Bunders 2024. Strong vote there.
I'm going to grab my IOW affiliation strap and I'm putting it around my waist right now because I am taking the two staples of my feud lineup, which is Jacob Fatu and Muda.
Yep. And who are we taking between them?
We're not. We're not.
B-Rock's got a half vote for each of them. Okay.
There you go.
Only because he was the first staple and the one that brought the dollars out. The Great Muda.
Envy going with the Great Muda. I like it. Great Muda was the second to last released character before 6-star gold hit, and definitely carried over into the 6-star gold rarity quite well. All right, Big Show, hit me with it.
Fatu.
Jacob Fatu. I love it. Just straight and to the point, Jacob. Love it.
Yep.
Shel, talk to me. Who do you got?
Baby fat for me.
Baby
fat.
Baby Fatu for Shel. All right, I can dig it. Chris, talk to me. Best of Acro 2024.
Yeah, I think I've also got to go with Jacob Fatu. He's just so good with multiple movesets. He's awesome.
Yeah, he is quite fantastic indeed. Last but not least, Evo, hit me with it. Best of Acro 2024 for Evolution X is...
Sami Zayn. No,
Sami
wait, what happened?
Zayn.
Who said that? No. It's Muda. It's Muda for me. Fatu, I don't even use. I have all the bells and whistles, and I don't know. It's just easier for me to use Muda.
Really like it. All right, I can dig the disparity here. It does seem to be pretty much 1A and 1B. There is nobody else on that list that anyone voted for, which is honestly shocking to me with how good Seth Rollins Leonardo is, and he got a rework, a revamp to being even stronger. As strong as heavy metal Rhea Ripley is, she made it on nobody's list. The revamped Tiffy time with the reversal to multiply gems, the super strong Lyra Valkyria. Acro did not have a lot of characters released this year, but very solid quality amongst the entire bunch, and even with all of that, it comes down to literally two people, which is Muda and Jacob Fatu.
To be fair, they're all bangers, and
Yeah.
they're all great additions to anyone's roster other than Sammy. But it's just Muda, man. That myth.
Look, I don't argue that Muda is a fantastic acrobat, and he definitely makes his way into my lineup quite often. For the record, I did pick Jacob Fatu as the number one. It's very few and far between characters that you can see that actually utilize every single one of their 8 moves in one way, shape, form, or another. I completely respect that there's some people out there that have a great move set or a 2-move kill, like, Julius Creed, for example. But for me, the versatility and flexibility that Jacob Fatu has, where you can essentially use any of his moves in some way, shape, or form, whether it's boss or feud or showdown, that's why he got the vote for me. But that'll be it for Acros. And last but certainly not least, it's the Showboat class. The Showboat class starts off big with one of Evo's old-time favorites, Hall of Fame Rey Mysterio. We have Greatest Hits Kevin Owens. We have Jade Cargill released this year. Vader Time Vader, Rex Regum, Maurice, Maxine Dupree, Solo Sikoa, Kofi Kingston, which is Michelangelo, Bret Hart Zombie, and Huskus the Pig Boy, Joe Gacy. So who does everybody have for the Showboat class?
That'll be Vader Time for me this year.
Vader Time for you. I mean, he is a beast. He also gets a nice little uptick with that new Valkyrie's Crest skill plate.
Yeah.
For personal reasons, I really want to say Michelangelo.
Yeah, that's fair.
I really want to say that, but I'm gonna say Rex Regum.
Going with Rex. All right.
He was definitely a game changer for a lot of people.
Yep. I can agree there, Shel. Who else is joining our Showboat conversation?
Because the game really wants me to have him lately and gives it to me every chance I get. I guess I'm going with Vader.
Vader Time for Envy. Got 2 votes for Vader, 1 for Rex. Who else is hopping on in?
I'm actually
So
going.
I'm gonna.
Oh, God, gotta be right.
All right. I'm jumping in. It's me and you, Shel. 3 clicks, it's over. Rex Regum.
Rex from the penthouse itself.
That's that Philly boy. I got you, B-Rock.
Yep, that's right, Philly.
It's actually a tie between Rex. Obviously, on the male side, no multis, 3 clicks, you're out, and Maxine for the same reason.
Yep.
Maxine on the female side, female Showboat's not great, other than her and Jade, in my opinion. So, no multis, and 3 clicks and out.
So who gets the vote between the two for you on best of?
I'm gonna have to go with Maxine just because she feels more of a need than Rex does.
I can dig it. Got to vote for Maxine.
Man, I thought I was going to be on an island all on my own, but I'm going with Maxine too.
Yep, Maxine Dupree from Chris. I can dig it. All right, Big Show, bring us home. Best of Showboat 24.
For Showboats, it's Rex Regum and then everybody else.
Wow, Rex and everybody else. So we got 2 votes for Vader, 2 votes for Maxine, 3 votes for Rex. And for the record, yes, I also picked Rex Regum as my best of 2024 Showboat. I love the fact that he does not need multi-gems. He also does not touch the board. And as of the time of this recording, there is no reversal to him other than if you counter the Pyro Gem placement. Again, just assuming that it's going to happen because JD has the anti-move reversal, I'm expecting an anti-gem reversal to join the game soon, which will definitely be a huge impact on a lot of characters moving forward. But that's it for our best of on the characters. And as we wind down, I'm going to go ahead and find that little skill plate list. So we had a lot of skill plates that came out this year, like a good chunk of them. A lot of those MP skill plates came out. The phenomenal flow, like the green to purple and the Graveheart, which was black to blue. So we had a lot of those that joined the fray. I'm not going to go through reading all those off, but for the year, we had the Barber's Blades, we had the Shades of Rains, the Devon Specs, the Bubba Specs, we had the Nearing End, we had the Finery Plate, the Willa Cargill, the Let Me Talk to You skill plate, the RK Overload, the Must See Headband, the Tiffy Time headpiece. We had the Dark Master Ozzy Sunglasses skill plate, the Unbreakable Crown for Miss May Young. We also had the Glowing Fate plate for Naomi. We had Thomas Chess skill plate, all of the Turtle skill plates. We had the Zombie Chelsea, Zombie Brett, Zombie Bailey, and Zombie LA plates. Lots of plates that came out there. Turtles 2.0 skill plates with the Dodge skill plates for both of the Donatello and Michelangelo's, and the Ray and Seth skill plates for cross breaks into red gems and 9 power gems, essentially a knockoff finery plate instead of botch gems. All of the Wyatt 6 skill plates for row breaks and the green move giving you green gem damage. We also had the current Devil's Drip and Yeet skill plates, and the one we talked about a little bit earlier on in the podcast, the Valkyrie's Crest skill plate. So lots of skill plates on the year. What does everybody have as their very number one skill plate?
The number one skill plate that I want is the Gender Time skill plate. Gotta give me one of those.
The Gender Time skill plate.
I think there's quite a lot of skill plates that make individual characters game breaking. Like Ray's plate makes him exceptional. The Tama chest plate makes Julius exceptional. But I genuinely think the one that makes the most characters on that list that you just gave is the Yeet plate. So I'll go with that.
The Yeet plate from Blunders. All right. Who else do we got on the list?
As someone who likes the Fruit Loops combo on a few people, I think the Mae Young plate as a gem chucker in the primary position is probably the biggest game changer out of all of them.
Unbreakable.
Yeah, but that's the Cowabunga Crown that you like.
It's a Cowabunga Crown, it's a Fruit Loop, it's a bunch of, it changes a lot of people.
Yeah, but
to chuck out 30 gems.
I get where Evo's coming from. The fact that it's a gem chucker of 20 gems in the primary spot instead of the secondary one, it's a very solid addition. All right, who else has skill plates for us?
All right. I thought this was going to be a runaway, and I'm surprised at people's answers. But for me, it's got to be the Piper plate.
The Piper plate.
You talking about the Pyro plate? That was last year.
Yeah, the Piper Pyro plate came out last year.
Did it?
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Yes, yes it did.
I'm not believing it because I just got one.
I mean, that would have been my answer if it was this year for sure, though. Yeah, but yeah.
See what happens when you don't live in the penthouse? Hey, I'm a year behind.
Yeah.
B, it came out last year, and you had the same chance everyone else did to get it when the Piper Niven thing happened.
I'm just saying it. I think that Are we sure?
100%. I promise you.
I think just penthouse people got it last year. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I have to go with the Tama plate.
The Tama chest plate. I can dig it. All right. Shel, plate of the year?
I'd say the Mae Young crown.
The Mae Young crown as well. All right.
Yep.
I can dig it.
Definitely, I haven't had a chance to use my Yeet plate yet, so I can't really accurately judge it.
Okay.
But I definitely have used the Mae Young plate a bit.
All right. Big Show, crown of the year? Or plate of the year? I'm hearing everyone say the Mae Young plate.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Mae Young plate.
Wow, another for the Mae Young plate. I like it.
I'm going to go with the Will of Cargill.
The Will of Cargill plate. Very strong plate as well. Yeah, so we got a wide variety here of plates that everyone chose. I'm going to side with Bunders, I think, on this one, simply because of how many characters it does make into absolute hitters. I got to give it to the Yeet plate. The Yeet plate, I think, is an absolute monstrous plate. But yeah, I think we had a lot of fun on this one. This was a super long podcast. Very happy that we split it up into 2 parts. Hopefully everybody enjoyed, and a huge thank you to everyone that hung out pretty much for the entire duration of Feud here. We're going to have Reset kicking off at any moment. So huge shout out. Appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who listened in live, who also made it to the podcast and was a part of it. Thank you, B-Rock, for showing up. I appreciate it. Bunders, as always, I appreciate your output and input into the podcast. Chris, thank you for hopping on in on part 2. Shel, thank you as well for hopping on in part 2. If either of you want to make it back onto a podcast in the future, feel free to let me know. Evo, as always, thank you, big fella, for giving your input. I appreciate that you are not afraid to say what is truly on your mind. I know a lot of people get scared too, but always appreciative that you are around for that. Big Show, huge shout out for you to make it as well in the middle of feuding every single second that you possibly could. And Envy, as always, thank you for being part of the fun squad of the podcast. So huge thank you and shout out to everyone that could join us for this podcast. And thank you all for listening on in. We will catch you all in 2 weeks' time for Volume 9 of the Round Table Podcast. Have a good one, everybody.